A little bit about Coriolanus. Corio is he's 18. He's in the academy in Pan Am. He's beginning to learn how to become a politician and a young kind of leader of Pan Am. It's 65 years before the Corio or the President Snow who we met in the original series. So he's not quite yet the evil dictator that we know him to be. He's this young, ambitious, kind of like zesty young man who is looking to kind of make a name for himself. But also his family is in dire need of food, and he's trying to keep up appearances while also trying to provide for his family. I think what drew me to Corio is, I mean, aside from being a fan of the franchise originally and going to see them when I was a teenager, what drew me to Corio specifically is his kind of his multitudes. Like, you know, he's not one thing. He's ambitious and he's hungry, but at the same time he tries to remain humble, and yet at the same time he wants to be the best in his class. And I think he's this person who contains just multitudes within him. And when I'm looking at a character, I always look to play someone who contradicts themselves, because I think that's what life is like. We have an amazing cast. We're very lucky. I'm very lucky. Rachel, Hunter, and Josh. You know, we have this awesome young cast that are like somewhat new on the scene, but are making a huge name for themselves, each of them. And then we have this kind of like legendary OG cast who we all look up to, all of us, and then a massive extended cast of amazing international actors from all over the world. And I just think in the original series, you know, you read about it as a fan how much of a connection they all had, and I think it's a credit to the franchise that we were able to kind of like latch onto that chemistry as well, and it came back to life, I think, in a way that was really organic and fresh. And you know, I mean, Jason is one of the funniest people I've ever met, and brings this levity to the film, which I think really gives it another angle. And there's, you know, it's great to see these characters brought to life by people who are truly transformative. I mean, Viola does this amazing thing where like she steps on set as Viola and action starts, and all of a sudden she's Volumnia Gaul, and her voice and her face changes in a way that I've never seen an actor do before. So we are incredibly lucky, and I hope we get to do more. Francis is a really one of a kind director. I feel lucky to be able to call him a director and a friend now. And lucky that he came back to this installment, because I think he loves the world, I think he loves the characters, and I think he loves Suzanne Collins, our incredible creator, a creator of the series. And I think he is someone who is able to, in a really unique way, take an enormous world and an enormous franchise and make it feel really intimate and specific, which I think is a testament to him and his skill and his talent, but also his humility and what he brings to the work. He makes a big film as if it's a really intimate family drama almost. And then, not to mention the action pieces that he brings to the movie. The way he shoots action is just so dynamic and so raw, and it hits you right in the chest. I feel very lucky to be working with Francis. Oh man, there's one scene, because Corio is always hungry at the beginning of the film because his family is struggling. There's a scene where Sejanus tries to sneak him a cookie, and it's in the book, so Josh and I knew it was coming, and somehow throughout this long day of filming with hundreds of people on set, Josh managed to make me crack probably about 100 times. We were trying to do this serious scene where I find out that the Hunger Games are happening, and Josh kept choosing the most inopportune time to hand me a cookie. And by the end of the scene, we were both covered in crumbs and cookie junk all over us. And that is kind of mine and Josh's relationship, really, in a nutshell. We like to crack each other up on set when we can, and throw the other one off and throw them curveballs. I think this movie is going to be quite rewarding to the fans of the original series because there's a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of connections between this new installment, this prequel, and the original series, and a lot of explanation as to why President Snow in the original films, detests Katniss so much. I think Katniss in the original series reminds President Snow of Lucy Gray Baird, and we get to find that out in this movie and in this book because it explains how Corio became who he becomes and how he becomes this dictator and why his hunger for power grows so strong. And a lot of that is because of Lucy Gray and because of her kind of enigmatic nature that he can't quite understand. So when Katniss comes along later on, when he's a lot older and a lot more powerful, I think she scares him because it almost feels like going back in time. I think what fans are going to love most about the film is that it's a return to the games, a return to Panem without being a repeat. It feels like it honors everything we loved about the original franchise while also revealing so much more that is new and fresh, and answers a lot of unanswered questions about why our most beloved characters are how they are.